G'day guys, and welcome back to Retrospect Reviews. I'm Vince and welcome to part 2 of cleaning up this Amiga 500. If you haven't seen part 1, go and check that out. I'll leave a link in a card or in the description. But in this second part, we're gonna just clean it up. Mechanically it's in good working order. I have no other issues. So all we're going to do is give it a good clean, starting with the keyboard. Now the keyboard is a bit grubby and a bit dirty, and that's just from years of use and its age basically. Unfortunately, all keyboards end up with dust and fluff and that under the keys. It's just part of the computer world that we live in. So what I'll do, I'll dismantle the keyboard and we will pull these keys off and basically pull the whole keyboard apart so I can take it and we'll give it all a good clean up. So starting off, let's unplug the keyboard. Alright, so the first thing we've got to do is take all these keys off. So I've got two containers here, a bowl for the keys because I'm going to take them away and wash them, and a container for the springs. Under each one of these keys is a spring. So I've got this handy keycap puller or keyboard dislodger. I used to use a screwdriver or something like that, but you can damage the keys, so I got myself one of those. So starting off, you got to put it on an angle, and it's a bit of a pull. And it's straight up. There we go. So there's the spring. You got to be careful not to lose these springs. Now another good thing to do before you start doing this is take a photo. I've already done that, so I know where all these keys, just in case this is the first time you're doing it and you don't know where these keys go back. So use your mobile phone or your digital camera or whatever you got to take a photo. So there's the first key. Oh. Okay, this zero key is a little different. I don't know if you can see down there, there's a metal bar. I'm just should have a way of detaching that. And these two little plastic bits that go inside the key. I've left these two, the spacebar and the caps lock, to last. As you can see, the caps lock there has a LED in it, and I don't think pulling the button off is going to affect it, but when I undo the base it will. Now the spacebar has a long bar, metal bar, a bit like the shift does, so just got to keep that in mind. But we'll pull this caps lock off first. Okay, so the caps lock's off. As you can see, it's got that little clear window there. Standard spring, but it has a different colour plunger and a little LED light in there. So now we'll see about getting this key spacebar off. Okay, so I don't know if we can see that, but once again it has a long bar. So there you go, it's got a long bar just to help keep it steady. Right. Then the only other difference is it has 3 different size springs. So you might want to keep them a bit separate from the others, just so you can know the difference there. Okay. Whew. So that is the long, tedious bit. So the next thing we got to do is detach the membrane from here, from this little bit of white here. So that's pretty easy. I have seen there is a couple of different versions of this, but this looks quite straightforward, and it's just a matter of pushing down. Get something a bit. Just be careful. Just push down like this. And you should be able to just slowly remove it. Now, what you want to be careful of too, you don't want to break that bit of wire in between. But we also got to take tie wire thing off here. It helps hold the board in, so we'll just snip that off. Be careful not to cut wires. Okay, so I'll replace that when I go to put it back on. So the next thing we've got to do is undo a heap of screws at the back here. And we've got all these little screws we've got to undo now. Oh. We've got all these little screws we've got to undo. So let's get stuck into that. Once again, best to keep these separate. So there's a couple of little plastic bumps here that we just got to lift the PVC over. Oh, hang on. We have one screw left that I missed. Okay. That, in theory, should come straight off. Soldered. For some reason that's soldered. I've never seen that before. Somebody has soldered this on. That's new. Oh, bugger. Oh, that's made it difficult. So what's happened is the last keyboard I took apart was not soldered into this corner. I was just sitting there, so I was going to give this a good wash, but I might just have to dust it and wipe it over with some kind of sterilization pad. So that's not exactly what I wanted to do, but at least we can give the keys a clean, and I'll dust this all down. Right, I'll go and dust this and I'll come back.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so I'm back now. From outside I just dusted it down with a paintbrush. So I'm going to wipe it down now with some of this antibacterial cloth, just to make it a little bit cleaner, maybe get some of the marks off. Now if I realised that this was soldered in this corner, I wouldn't have taken off the tie wire and went to all that trouble. But yeah, you can definitely see where it has been welded. Now I don't know what the purpose of this was. Was this a faulty keyboard that they found at the factory and this was their quick fix? I don't know. Yeah, so we'll give it a bit of a clean down here like this, but it's pretty clean. Like I said, most of it was just dust build up over the years of use. So it's not. So just give that a bit of a wipe down. Look, it's pretty good, I think, in my opinion. So we'll give the keys a bit of a wash, but before I do that, I do want to just put that back plate on the back here. Let that dry a bit. And we'll just flip it over again. So we'll put the. I'll give this a bit of a wipe as well while we're at it. Okay. This goes this way. Okay. Just need to screw them down. Right, so got that back on. Now, tie wire. Alright, tie wire. And we'll cut him off. Alright, really the next thing to do is just to go and wash the keys, and I'll wash the outer case, so we might take that off. So we'll just put them springs over there, we'll put the keyboard to one side. Of course we want to wash these, so this is the cover for the expanded memory. This is for where you would attach the hard drive cover, for the attachment for that. What you have the base off, so I honestly don't think it's going to need retro brighting. I'm going to give it a good clean and then judge from there. So really the next thing to do is take the board off the base and the shield so we can give this a good clean. So we'll disconnect the floppy drive. Right, let's see if we can get this base off. Just slides out like that. Of course this will need a good clean as well, which I'll just take it out, give it a good dusting. So there's the shield, and like I said, there's a little bit of rusting there. Might be able to put something on that later on. But to actually take that shield off, I would have to undo all these, and at the moment I don't think I want to do that, so I'll just give that a good dusting down in a bit. But there we go, we've got the base. Alright, let's go and clean all these pieces up. Okay guys, I've moved now into the laundry so we can clean these keys up. Now if you're going to do this, be sure, maybe have something to stop, just in case anything goes down the sink. I've got this plug filter thing, and I'll just, even though at this stage I'm only just going to fill this bowl up, it's probably a good idea just to do that. Now I'm just going to use some standard laundry detergent, nothing too fancy, just put a bit in there, and if there's any real stubborn, I can use some bicarbonate. But we'll start with the keys and then we'll move on to the case and the rest of the few other bits. Now you want lukewarm water, you don't want too hot. You don't want to melt the plastic. So just get a bit of warm water in there. Oh, got one falling out. And just using a toothbrush. Okay, that should do the job. This is another reason to put that plug in. So I've missed two springs, ended up in the bowl with the keys. So it does pay to have that in there just in case any of those do wander in. So I'll put them aside to make sure I don't lose them. Okay, let's move on to the other parts. Get these little trapdoors or quick wash. Not too bad. And we've got some rust stain in here. It's from the memory card, so we might need some baking soda or not. Baking soda. let's move on to this part, the top.
Hours later.
So I've left the case and the keys to dry overnight on a towel, and now we're back the next day to put the keys back on. So I've printed off a picture of the keyboard layout just for a quick reference in case I have one of those moments where I can't remember where a key goes, and that is a handy reference. So make sure you do take a photo of anything you're pulling apart electrical, especially when it's got a lot of parts. Take a photo step by step to make sure that you know where they go. So we'll just put that aside for now. So I'm going to start off with the spacebar. I find it easier to put any of these keys back on that have the bars. Just makes it easier because once you start putting the little keys on, it does get a little bit harder to get these bar parts on. And I'm not going to go through every key because it's going to take a while. But yeah, so we'll start off with that. So you've got to grab your springs. Now remember, the spacebar had 3 different sizes, so we'll just put them back in like this. And now this spacebar, it looks like it should go that way, but in reality it does go that way with this slope going in towards the keys. So you just got to get your keys. You got to get that rod over that black into the back bit first. Okay, it's in. And there's a couple of modules there we're going to get there over. There we go. It's on. So we'll magically jump ahead and all the keys will be back on the keyboard. There you go guys, all the keys are now back on the board. They look a lot better, nice and clean. So the next step is to bring in the bottom part of the case and put the motherboard back in and attach the keyboard and the floppy drive. So let's get this stuff out of the way and we will do that. Here's the base. Got it as clean as possible. The bicarbonate couldn't get that little bit of rust out, but overall it's dust free and it looks pretty good. So we'll slot the board back in. Oh, so there you go, nice and clean, back together. So the only thing to do now is plug everything in and we'll have a quick game of Rainbow Island and make sure it's all working. Okay, so I've plugged the Amiga in. Let's switch her on. Red light on. Power's on. Let's put in Rainbow Island. I've hooked the joystick up this time. Put Rainbow Island in. Loading up. Very good. Okay, let's try out the joystick. Well, seems to be working fine. Oh, it's been a while since I played Rainbow Island. I've forgotten what I was doing there. Well guys, that's it for this video. The Amiga 500 is nice and clean. Now I did contact my mate last night because I did have suspicion that this had been opened before, and that was correct. He did tell me that in the past that they had a new chip put in, the Angus 8372A, which boosted it up to a 1 meg chip. So that was pretty cool to find out. Now he said he's not sure if they replaced the floppy drive. He said it could be possible that at the same time they put in a new floppy drive. That's why that one looks a little bit different. And he wasn't sure about the solder in the corner of the keyboard. He said, look, it's possible it could have been done at the same time the chip was put in, but most likely it might have been a factory refurb. Back in the day, they used to do that. If they found a faulty part on the production line, it was set aside, and if the problem could be fixed, they fixed it. And I'd say that's what they did, because I doubt they had any worries about anyone opening this up back in the day and saying, hey, you said you sold me a brand new Amiga, and this is a refurbished one. So that happened a lot. So yeah, so in the comments let me know if you've come across anything like that in the past, or you've done a bit of a service on your own Amiga. Let me know how you went. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and share. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I upload a new video every week. Well, that's the end of this 2-part video series. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!